So I'm sick. Look at all this paper everywhere. But anyway, I haven't been recording because I'm apparently catching a cold, and okay. But yeah, apparently I'm catching a cold. My boyfriend thinks I'm getting worse because I said my whole body's starting to ache a little bit, along with my nose being all stuffy and runny. And he's like, yeah, you're getting sick. I'm like, but anyway, this video in particular will be my reaction rant to, The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 11, which is titled Not Unite. It premiered around February 28th. I know I'm like hella away. What's the date today? Hang on, let me find my phone. It's March 4th. I know it's like hella days later. I'm sorry. But like, I wanted to record this particular episode either on Monday or Tuesday, the Tuesday after it aired, but I got so freaking lazy and I got distracted. I got this like movie I was watching and I got distracted with that on Monday, and then Tuesday I was just catching up on the show Shadowhunters. I don't know if you guys know that show, Freeform, formerly ABC Family. Shadowhunters bases on Mortal Instrument book series. And I love that book series. That's why when I heard that they're coming out with a TV series, I was like, let's go. Anyway, yeah, pure laziness and the fact that this was happening in the middle of all that, right? So, anyway, unfortunately, I did not watch the episode. I was not home at the time. I wasn't even home to the point where I not only did I not watch it at its normal 9 o'clock showing, I wasn't able to see the replay of it later on in the evening. And I don't know what happened. My AMC app on my tablet went all kaplooey. I don't know what happened. I need to fix that. So I wasn't able to watch it at all. And the only DVR in my mother's house is in her room, and she locks her door every time, so I can't even get to that. So I'm just gonna go from what people have told me what happened in Not Unite and give a little bit of my thoughts about it. So yeah, let's do this. From what I heard, I'm gonna call him Jesus. I don't like calling him Jesus. I know they call him Jesus, but I can't do it. I'm literally just gonna call him Jesus. I'm sorry, guys. I was raised Catholic, so the only Jesus I know is the one up there. So anyway, I'm gonna just call him Jay for short. How about that? Jay, it pretty much informs Rick of the community he's from, which is Hilltop. And basically his resident community is like offering food, medicine, and other supplies to the Saviors. And if you guys remember, the Saviors are those same group of people that apparently work for this new guy, Negan. For all you guys who have read the comics, you all know who Negan is, right? But like, we already saw the Saviors in the group of that biker gang that stopped Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl. So basically, like, Negan and the rest of his Saviors, you know, they pretty much are taking from Hilltop food, medicine, and other supplies. In return, you know, the Saviors like, just give us all that and you'll get immunity from being attacked from anyone and anything, you know what I mean? And so I understand that Hilltop in general, any community in general, especially in an apocalypse, when they want to be protected not just from walkers, but from actual bad people who are alive and all that stuff, you kind of want the best protection, even if you're, in a way, you're kind of bullied by bad people for that protection, which really sucks, in my opinion. But, you know, they're pretty much stuck in a, you know, rock, hard place. Them, you know what I mean? I understand why they're kind of scared to go against the Saviors. I mean, the Saviors obviously are physically stronger. I mean, they deal with the walkers, they deal with other people, you know. And they're strong. And Hilltop, they're probably like that nice, cute little community like Alexandria was when Rick and the group first got there. Totally oblivious to the rest of the world, or maybe not like Alexandria. They know about the outside, well, they dealt with the outside world, but they're not as profound in fighting walkers and other people outside their walls like Alexandria was when we first saw them. So I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, they can't stand up to the Saviors. I mean, look at what happened with the Alexandrians, like, before Rick's group. They were just in their walls, all going on with their lives. Rick's group pretty much opens their eyes to what dangers are out there and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised Hilltop is doing what they're doing, even though it's totally not fair that they're giving up their resources just for protection. And hang on, I need to blow my damn nose. Don't be surprised it's gonna happen momentarily. Anyway. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, with Rick's group and the Alexandrians, they're running dangerously low on food. So, like, Rick's group decided to travel to Hilltop with, I'm gonna call him Jay, like I said. Whether it's Jesus or Jesus, I'm calling him Jay. By the way, Rick's group decides to travel to Hilltop with Jay to, you know, trade for stuff, trade, you know, because, you know, Alexandria, Rick's group, they're running short on food and they need it, right? And apparently this Hilltop has food that they need, so they take Jay with them, they travel to Hilltop, and on the way there, they see an overturned car, apparently from what I heard, like a car that's in, like, people in it in trouble, and Jay pretty much says, oh, those are my people. So, stopping along the way, they rescue some of Jay's people who were, like, car overturned, fires, and all that stuff. And, basically, when they get to Hilltop, all the talks they're having there at Hilltop end up being interrupted by a small group of Hilltop residents that come back from, basically they come back from a supply run and they return to Hilltop where Rick and their gang are all there with Jay and all them at Hilltop. And any talks they have, you know, Rick's group, Jay, and the rest of Hilltop, they get interrupted by the small little group that came in saying that they're delivering some sort of tribute to Negan. So apparently this small little group of Hilltop residents that went on, I think, a supply run and came back, most likely ran into either Negan or Negan's people, and, basically made like a little, I wouldn't say a bargain, but they did something for Negan, right? And, one of the members of that small little scavenger group, Ethan, from what I remember his name is Ethan, attempts to assassinate the Hilltop leader, Gregory, on Negan's orders. So, I'm only guessing this small little group of Hilltop people did run into either Negan or his people, but I want to say they actually ran into Negan, because this sounds like something the actual leader would say instead of, you know, his people. So I want to say these people did run into Negan, like, in person, and the fact that, I don't know how, again, like I said, I did not watch the episode, I heard it from various people. I don't know how Negan got Ethan and this small little group of Hilltop to try to assassinate their own leader, Gregory, on Negan's orders. I don't know what he did, maybe they threatened them or something, I don't know, but yeah, Ethan tries to assassinate the leader, Gregory, and Rick ends up killing Ethan in retaliation, and we see some savage Rick Grimes again. It's like, just when we thought he was coming back to, you know, the humanity side of himself, Savage Rick comes back with a vengeance, and it's like, shit. You know, it's like, we were really hoping that, I was hoping at least, that Rick would have more humanity come out of him, but after seeing what he did to Ethan, I'm kind of scared that he'll go back to Savage Rick ways. I really am. But anyway, Maggie, we see Maggie pretty much take up a Deanna role. If you guys remember, Maggie was pretty much studying under Deanna to become, like, basically her mini-me, if you think about it. And she's taking all that training from Deanna and, you know, using it right now because she goes to Hilltop leader Gregory, you know, and, makes a deal with Gregory where Hilltop gives half of their supplies to Alexandria. She says, you know, you give Alexandria half your supplies, my group, Rick's group here, we will take out the saviors for you along with Negan so you don't have to worry about them, right? And it's like, Maggie the diplomat right now, and she's like pregnant and everything. It's like really interesting what, I don't know, it's just very interesting seeing Maggie take like a political standpoint on anything. But then again, like I said, like we all know, she trained under Deanna, and you know, Deanna's like the queen of all politics in this world right now, but it's really cool seeing Maggie, you know, take the forefront like that. She's really like stepping up as a leader figure in honor of Deanna in a way. So I thought that was pretty cool. And let's see. Another thing, it's not really a major thing, but I want to point out the fact that Abraham Abraham is having some interesting moments here, like the fact that, you know, he's still with Rosita and having moments with her, but you can obviously see he's getting some feels for Sasha, and it's like interesting because we all know in the comics Abraham does cheat on Rosita with a girl from Alexandria named Holly, and obviously that role of Holly is being somewhat replaced with Sasha because Abraham is somewhat having the feels for Sasha here and considering his feelings with Rosita, and it's very interesting seeing seeing someone have love troubles besides Rick and Maggie and Glenn. It's interesting, you know, and plus Abraham, he hasn't been there as long as, you know, Rick and them, so it's interesting seeing Abraham actually having a love problem in this show. It's like it's intriguing. And also, we also have that moment where Maggie and Glenn actually have a sonogram, and they show the baby picture sonogram to everybody. And, you know, not gonna lie, this episode with, you know, Abraham's situation, and, you know, the sonogram, I noticed something very interesting about Daryl. I'm not saying that, I can be team delusional at moments, but not gonna lie to you, this episode kind of reminds me of the fact that Daryl does have some lingering, you know, lingering moments and feelings and memories of Beth Green, because, if you remember in this episode, Abraham, he's all asking Daryl, do you ever consider settling down? And if you guys remember, Daryl never considered settling down after the prison up until he was in that funeral home with Beth. If you guys remember, Daryl even told Beth at that funeral home that they should, you know, stay there and wait for whoever lives in that place, you know, and that we'll all stay there together and make a negotiation. We'll stay in the house together at the funeral home. So that was one of the only times we really saw Daryl actually consider, you know, settling down somewhere right after the prison, was when he was in the funeral home with Beth. And when Abraham asked him about it, he pretty much said, there's nothing worth settling for, or something like that. Like, I don't know the exact lines, like I said, I didn't see it, but he pretty much denies ever settling down, ever. And it kind of reminds me of that one moment where he was thinking about settling down in the funeral home with Beth. And another thing was, when Glenn and Maggie were showing their baby sonogram to everyone, when Daryl had the sonogram, you could see in his face when he's looking at that sonogram. Because if you guys remember, at the Moonshine Shack, Beth, you know, they were having their drunk talk. Beth mentions, you know, she always thought that Maggie and Glenn were going to have a baby and that Herschel was going to be a grandpa. And quite frankly, when Daryl had that sonogram in this episode, I keep thinking that maybe when he was looking at it, he was thinking of those exact words that Beth said about Glenn and Maggie having a baby, and the fact that it was coming true. Basically, everything Beth said literally was coming true, you know, like, we're gonna see the family again, and that's basically what happened with Daryl. He reunited with the family, you know, Rick's group. Maggie and Glenn are having a baby, and even though Herschel is dead, he's technically is a grandpa, if you think about it. And have birthdays and celebrations, which technically did semi-happen in Alexandria when they first got there, you know, like, remember that mini party that they had? I think it was in Deanna's house in Alexandria when they first got there, and Daryl did not want to go in. You remember that? That was a party, if you think about it. Anyway, yeah, this episode, I wish I really did get to watch it, because I remember Hilltop reading about it in the comics. I don't remember much of it right now because it's been a while since I read any of the Walking Dead comics. I might go back and read them again. But there are a lot of parallels to the actual comic source itself, so I'm kind of worried about certain people. Like, I'm worried about Glenn. You guys remember why in the comics? I'm even worried about Abraham and Rosita, because also in the comics, so let's see what happens, because the next title is not tomorrow yet, episode 12, so I'll see you guys later in the next video.